welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I'm Yago. I'm a contributor to a project called Sovryn. Sovryn is DeFi for Bitcoin. So today we're going to talk about Bitcoin with superpowers. So, there's two questions I think we need to answer. One question is, why does Bitcoin need DeFi? And the second question is, why does DeFi need Bitcoin? So I think the first question is relatively easy to answer. There's this incredible monetary asset that's been developed, which is Bitcoin. And it's permissionless and it's global, and you can transfer it to wherever you want. And it's the central store of value for the entire crypto space. And when you want to use it, you have to go through a central intermediary. You want to lend, central intermediary. You want to trade, central intermediary. You want to use any financial tooling whatsoever, central intermediary. And so you're giving up the very properties that we cherish about Bitcoin. And so you could say, well, Bitcoin already has DeFi, right? You can wrap your Bitcoin and send it to Ethereum and use Curve or Compound or any DeFi DApp that you want. But the problem is that while you're using a DeFi DApp, you're not doing DeFi because you're going through a centralized intermediary. And beyond that, I think we all know that a lot of Bitcoiners are extremely loyal to only using Bitcoin and are looking for a Bitcoin native solution. Yeah. And a lot of the people working on Sovryn are just like that. Now, the question is, why does DeFi need Bitcoin? And the reason DeFi needs Bitcoin is because crypto needs Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the very center and heart of the entire crypto industry. Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down. And beyond that, right now, Bitcoin has the highest chance of truly becoming a global reserve currency and store of value. I mean, it took 12 years, which is nothing, but in the blink of an eye, for us, it recently became a sovereign currency in the first country that's ever adopted a cryptocurrency as a sovereign currency. And so if we want to build a world in which there's permissionless, borderless, uncensorable, and incorruptible finance, we need to build it on incorruptible assets. And Bitcoin is the first one which is likely to become that, and to create a path maybe for others to do the same. So what is Sovryn? Sovryn is DeFi which is built Bitcoin natively. And what that means is that Sovryn isn't built on Ethereum, it isn't built on BSC, it isn't built on its own chain, it's built on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has recently been undergoing a renaissance. We've heard about Taproot, we've heard about Lightning Network, we've heard about a lot of things. But one of the other big things that is happening is the increasing use of true Bitcoin sidechains. What are Bitcoin sidechains? Specifically, the example I'll use is Rootstock, which is the sidechain that Sovryn is built on. It's a sidechain of Bitcoin that is merge mined with Bitcoin proof of work. So Bitcoin miners are the providers of security to the chain, and its native currency, as opposed to pretty much every other chain that's been created, is not its own, but is Bitcoin. So when you're looking to interact with Sovryn, you're paying gas in Bitcoin, and you're helping to secure the Bitcoin network. But there's one final important property, which is that Rootstock extends, it provides a superpower to Bitcoin. It provides the ability to do EVM compatible contracts. And so that is a prime driver of how we've made Sovryn work and how we've allowed people to use standard wallets, or basically any DeFi wallet that they want. Most of our users use MetaMask when interacting with Sovryn. So what are the features that Sovryn has? So Sovryn's started as basically a little experiment about a year ago. It has since grown to have a developer community of about 100 people. And especially over the last months, has become maybe the most feature-rich DeFi platform anywhere. It provides for Bitcoin-backed stablecoins, Bitcoin trading, so native Bitcoin trading against stablecoins and other assets, including Ethereum, which is you can bring over through bridges, which exist currently to Ethereum and to BSC. It has borrowing and lending, and it also has margin trading. So people can take margin positions on their Bitcoin, and that also allows people who only have Bitcoin, people like me, to still take a long position on Bitcoin by basically levering up our Bitcoin. You want more Bitcoin? Well, you can do that with your Bitcoin. There are some ways in which Sovryn has evolved differently from projects on Ethereum, and certainly sort of like BSC or Polygon. There's been a very, very strong emphasis on security, decentralization, and vertical integration. So it is all of these different tools deeply integrated with each other. The project has probably undergone more audits than most other projects ever will. Every single pull request is audited separately, and then there are aggregated audits on an ongoing basis. And from a decentralization perspective, it was decentralized from day one. So the first thing that was built out was the governance system. And then on the top of that, the other features were added. And so the system, it has broken with some aspects of Bitcoin tradition in the most maximalist opinion. There can only ever be one token. That, to my mind, is nonsense. Tokens are extremely useful. And in particular, in Sovryn, the way that that's been utilized is allowing people to participate in protecting users against risk and governing the system via a governance and coordination token called SOV. A few basic ideas about where Sovryn is. Sovryn sort of is in alpha. It was in pre-alpha until about 2 months ago. Over those last 2 months, it has grown quite dramatically. So there's currently about $60 million in TVL in the system, not including the SOV token. There's about $10 million of trade happening on the system every single day. There's over 9,500 participants in the governance system on an active basis, and we've seen over close to $250 million traded and lended in the system so far. And so I think over the coming months, what's supposed to happen and what we're hoping will happen is the system will emerge from this alpha state where the community will feel like it can go into beta. And that will also include having improved Bitcoin pegging, so faster movement between the two chains, and faster transactions utilizing roll-up technology. And so maybe to sum up things, we can look at the actual Sovryn protocol. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
All right. And so this is the current alpha of Sovryn. And when you come in, there's like a quick explanation of the different features and how to get yourself set up. And one of the big things that people are working on right now is making it easier and easier. So for example, the one-click MetaMask integration is going to happen soon. And then you have things like finance, Bitocracy, which is the governance system, rewards that you can collect, your portfolio, bridging, and the most recent thing, Origins, which is the platform for launching new projects that are being built in the Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem. So in trade, there's the swaps that we're all familiar with, right, which are quite simple. There's a slightly different type of swap, which also provides for graphing tools. And then there's the margin trading, where you can choose the amount of leverage you want, the assets that you want, whether you want to go long or short. And of course, you can track your different positions. As you can see, my positions, as the positions of almost everyone on the platform, are very, very Bitcoin focused. There's lending. So right now, if you look, for example, at USDT, the rates on lending are kind of crazy, 31% APY. And that's because the system is still new and is very, very thirsty for liquidity. So some people are earning as much as 200 or 300% APY in the system in very, very, very simple strategies. In addition to lending and borrowing, one of those strategies is yield farming. So you can see that there's various different rewards being offered right now. Some of these have APYs of over 300%. There's the governance system, where the governance is usually has very, very high participation. So try and show you guys this. This seems to be loading a bit slow, so we'll skip out of this. And then I can go into my portfolio page, and from my portfolio page, there's all kinds of things you can do. So you can easily load up fast BTC. It takes about one confirmation to move in your funds into your wallet. So we built a fast way to get your funds into sort of like a MetaMask wallet. There's also integrations with fiat on-ramps, which allow you to have your first experience. If you want to invite your friends to experience Bitcoin, they now no longer need to go to a centralized exchange, and you can manage your entire portfolio here. And then if you already have funds, for example, on Ethereum, you can very, very easily bridge yourself. Bridging typically takes a few seconds to transfer your funds from Binance, or more typically from Ethereum. You choose your asset. You can move in all of the different stablecoins, Ethereum, and more assets are being added all the time. Origins has an upcoming sale, and you can choose to get involved with that. One of the cool things about Sovryn is because it has a very strong governance community, all sales are vetted by the community, and you actually have to have a vote to allow a new sale. And then finally, you can go check out the stats. So you can see today, trading volume's been about 306 Bitcoin, or about $12 million. You can see the various contracts and how much value in Bitcoin is in them. And you can see the current situation with lending, and the various AMMs and the amount of trading that is happening in them, and sort of like the balance of funds. So for example, SOV is about 206 Bitcoin worth of SOV as well as Bitcoin. So
disconnected. All right. We'll see if we can get him back on for some questions or anything. Because yeah, like DeFi is all about multiple chains. There he is.
Yeah, looks like I clicked
the
button. I rug pulled myself. Bottom line, that's Sovryn in just a few minutes. It's DeFi for Bitcoin. It's the fastest growing part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, I think, right now. And since it launched about 2 months ago, it has passed Lightning Network as the largest Bitcoin layer 2. And it is now integrating Lightning Network, so I think we'll see faster transactions for Sovryn and faster growth for Lightning Network. And anyone who's into Bitcoin, and certainly anyone into Bitcoin DeFi, should check out Sovryn. We're very excited about it, and the reason I've been investing so much time in it is because I don't want to have to give up control of my Bitcoin to anyone. That's it. Stay Sovryn, guys.
Thank you, Yago. And yeah, if you guys want to check them out, is it going to be sovryn.com.io? Where can they find you guys?
You can see the name SOVRYN, like at the bottom of the screen, sovryn.app, or SOVRYN BTC, Sovryn BTC on Twitter.
All right, thank you, and thank you for showing to the community. And once again, it's just a friendly reminder to everyone. It's like DeFi doesn't have to only be on Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain or anything. It can also be on Bitcoin, and it can also be on any chain. So feel free to check them out, and feel free to follow them on Twitter. All right, thank you, Yago.
Thanks very much. Cheers.